I'm a little bit delayed today. Good morning and welcome to ShareTreck. Sorry for starting this a little bit late. I was caught up in some of the headlines that I saw. And uh, yeah, let's get started. Let me gather my thoughts together. US stock futures are surging ahead of the open this Thursday, September 18th, as investors react positively to the Federal Reserve's shift to a more accommodative stance following yesterday's long anticipated 25 basis point rate cut. Now, if you watched the tape yesterday, you will remember the market initially sold off right after the announcement. What we thought was going to be buy the rumor, sell the news kind of profit taking. But traders were also a bit disappointed that the Fed didn't signal an even faster pace of cut, even though Powell made it clear that more easing is coming later this year. The immediate reaction was volatility. Tech stocks and the Nasdaq took the biggest hit, while Dow managed to close higher. But overnight, the sentiment has flipped. The question is why? I'm thinking that it's possibly because when investors dug into Powell's comment, probably they realized that the Fed now expects 2 more cuts before year end and is framing its move as risk management, directly addressing a softening labor market and stubborn inflation. In other words, Powell reassured the market that Fed stands ready to cut and ready to support both growth and equities, especially rate-sensitive sectors. The other reason I think the market has flipped is because Stephen Miran, who was recently added by Trump, was pushing for a 50 basis point cut. He was the only one there. And so far, Trump already has 2 more Fed governors in his pocket. So there are 3 who are pro-Trump. And he was trying to remove Lisa Cook before this meeting, but the court did not allow him to do so. And knowing Trump, he's going to try to do that in the next 1 month or so and get Lisa Cook out of the way and put one more of his nominee. Even if he didn't do that next month, it could happen the month after that. And Trump was looking for a whole lot of cuts. So that's also another factor, I think, which is playing in the minds of investors, that there's going to be tremendous amount of cuts, cheap money, and therefore they're all piling into the market. That's another thought I have. That's why we are seeing broad pre-market strength today, in my opinion. Leaders include SciSpark, CDT Equity, and New Fortress Energy, alongside gains across tech, consumer, and industrial names. Now let's talk headlines driving individual stocks. Intel is in the spotlight this morning after announcing a major partnership with NVDA. The deal includes a $5 billion investment from NVIDIA, which will become one of Intel's largest shareholders. The two will jointly develop PC and data center chips with NVIDIA's GPU linked to Intel's CPUs via a new high-speed interconnect. This is not just financial backing, it's also strategic validation for Intel's turnaround story in AI and foundry manufacturing. Shares of both Intel and NVIDIA are climbing pre-market. Now, I have a separate video that I'm working on. That's also another reason I was a bit late getting started today. In that video, I'm thinking about whether geopolitics has creeped into business, and both China and US are kind of manipulating their own lead companies to do certain things and not to do certain things, and to partner with certain people and not to partner with certain people, sell in some places and don't sell in other places. How this is going to have an impact on the way AI is going to evolve. Are we getting away from pure capitalism into a model that China has sponsored earlier, which probably US is now adapting, because that's a 10% stake of the US government in Intel. And then NVIDIA needs the government permission to export to other places. So is there some kind of a backroom dealing that is happening that is making these kind of mergers important? Amidst all these things, from a geopolitical point of view, Taiwan seems to become less and less important, with TSMC opening up units within the United States and Intel's foundry becoming more important for NVIDIA with this deal. How dedicated is the US promise to protect Taiwan, and will China make its move very soon? So all of those things are in the background. I'd like to get you guys to put some comments in this regard, but I'm working on a video on that. It's actually more than one video. One is just on Intel, NVDA. The other is on the geopolitical aspect. So that's what I'm thinking about. Now, the other share that's playing a big role today in the pre-market is Google's parent company, Alphabet, which is also rallying after China formally dropped its antitrust probe into Android. While Google hasn't yet received official notice, the move is seen as a goodwill gesture in the broader US-China trade talks, reducing regulatory risk and improving sentiment around big tech. Now, this is in line with how Alibaba is using CUDA. Chinese mobile companies are using Android. So this is synergistic from a Chinese point of view, in my opinion. Again, guys, I'd like to hear your feedback. Put it in the comment section. Meanwhile, in healthcare, Novo Nordisk stock is outperforming Eli Lilly today after new real-world data showed that Ozempic and or semaglutide delivered superior weight loss and cardiovascular benefits for seniors compared to Eli Lilly's Trulicity. That's reigniting enthusiasm for Novo leadership in obesity and diabetes drug market. So those are all the stories that caught my attention. So that's the equity story, but let's also set the stage with macro. Today we'll get the Philadelphia Fed's regional manufacturing survey, which will be closely watched for signs of further weakness in industrial economy. Later this week, flash PMI numbers for both services and manufacturing will give us a first look at September's economic momentum. Initial jobless claims are due as well, and those will be critical because the Fed has been very clear that labor market softening is one of the main reasons for its policy shift. We'll also see August industrial production and capacity utilization number. If factories are slowing and utilization is dropping, that supports the idea that inflationary pressures are easing. And towards the end of the week, the Bureau of Economic Analysis will release personal income and spending data, a direct read on consumer health, along with revisions to second quarter GDP and corporate profits. These updates could confirm whether slowdown that Powell talked about is materializing in the data. All in all, the story this morning is a market that's moving past yesterday's disappointment and embracing the Fed's pivot to easier policy while digesting a wave of big corporate and macro developments. Now, friends, with that already said, let's go and have a look at the charts and see if there is something that we can do. And actually, I'm personally thinking that I would like to finish the session as soon as possible and go in and buy a few big tech names and ride the momentum a little bit. And one has to be very cautious, as I said, like a deer in the jungle. You have to be very careful, buy and be ready to jump off the treadmill as soon as there is a little bit of rustling in the leaves. That's the way I would put it. It's a mixed metaphor, but that's what I'm thinking, and I want to do that. So let's go and have a look at our trading view platform. Hey, good morning, Inf. Thanks for joining. It's looking so bullish this morning. Let us see what the charts are telling us, and let's go on and have a look at the futures first. S&P 500 futures is up a healthy 0.74%. So we are looking at a resistance at 6,825 and a support somewhere in the region of 6,569. NASDAQ is also looking pretty good. And I have not drawn a support line or a resistance line. Let me first draw some plot lines out here to join the tops of some of the candles, and I can see that we could have a resistance somewhere around 25,500 today in that region, and we'll have a support at around 24,119. As you can see, market sentiment is also improved. It's become bullish. Dollar index is dropping, and this is also another reason why we would be seeing a little bit of market strength, but it's been firmly rejected from 97.288. Now, what is the point of time at which foreign investors will do the analysis and say, okay, the improvement in the stock price is not adequate to protect the value, and they start taking it out? Well, I don't know. And when is the time when good news is bad news and bad news is good news, the kind of change that happens? Because right now, any bad news that comes in is good news. So that change of sentiment, when does it happen? Those are the key questions that we have to watch very closely, in my opinion. And we are looking at the 5-year going down. That's very good. And in Canadian context, also the 5-year yield is going down. Yesterday, the Bank of Canada cut interest rates by 0.25% or 25 basis points. That is going to be good for line of credits, home equity line of credits that people had, and also variable rate mortgage. But for the fixed rate, there is not much of a change. The the rate cut was already priced in, so subsequent rate cuts will have to start getting priced into the mortgage market going forward. So that's what I'm watching, and this is definitely going to help the housing market in both places, in US as well as in Canada, and that's a big plus point. Now, having said that, let's move on to look at the indicators. And S&P 500 is still knocking at this diagonal line of resistance out here, and for today we are looking at 6,639 as the resistance, and we also have a support which I think is going to be somewhere in the area of 6,551.77 for today for S&P 500. And then we have NASDAQ. NASDAQ has got a resistance today, in my opinion, at around 24,409.83, and it has a support at 23,954. Again, market sentiment, MACD, momentum, everything is looking pretty good. And VIX has gone down significantly. It's down 5.28%, which shows a whole lot of reduction in volatility. But at the same time, we are seeing gold picking up again after the drop that we saw yesterday. And that is in line with the dollar index going down. And we are still looking at the bull flag. But this bull flag is coming very close to the flagpole, but we have the overarching bull flag, which has got a target of 3,892.77. So I'm still looking at that. I have not still considered this to be a downturn, but I'll be watching this closely. Overall, market sentiment is absolutely bullish. MACD is also bullish. Momentum, which was overbought, has cooled down a little bit, but it's still overbought. But there's plenty of room, given that in the past we have gone all the way up to 84.48 on the RSI scale. So I'm still optimistic that gold is going to pick up. I'm still staying invested. QQQ is up 1.07%, showing a very healthy jump. And I think it's going to have a resistance at 605 today, and it's going to have a support today at 588.76. Market sentiment has become bullish finally. MACD is still bullish. Momentum is above average. So all systems go. Put call ratio is absolutely neutral. So there is no indication out there of any exuberance. I think underlying everything, there's a little bit of a fear about the bad news. So we might be in the cusp of bad news being good news, getting flipped into bad news being bad news, and then the market coming down. Because apart from the put call ratio becoming neutral, we can see consumer discretionary is going down, whereas consumer staples is up. So XLP is up, and XLY, as you can see, is down 0.20%. It's mildly down. Let us see what happens when the market opens. This is still a doji candle out here. So we'll see what the response is going to be today. And if XLY starts going down and XLP firms up, then I think we can say that the sentiment of the market, the mentality of thinking bad news is good news, is going to change to bad news is bad news. Now, that said, I would like to go and have a look at AI. NVDA is jumping back up again. I'm still invested in NVDA, so I'm happy with this turnaround. And we are seeing that we have a support out here, which was earlier a resistance. Overnight, our resistance of 173.73 has been converted into a support for today. And for today, I think the resistance will be at 179. Right now, we are at 175.49, up 3.05% in pre-market trades. Meta has formed a reverse head and shoulder, which is a bullish sign. And I think it's already been triggered. So I would say that we are going to see a lot of gains in Meta. So I would be very keen to go back into the market and start buying a little bit of Meta. And we have Google, which had gained a lot, which has a gap up, which has to be filled up. Market sentiment is bullish. And today, pre-market, we are up 1.18%. So we have cracked the previous high, and we have still got to go above 253.47. Right now we are at 252.81. So if we cross 253, let us see exactly what that number is, 253.81. Then I think that will become a support for us. But right now, I'm just going to watch what happens here. Overall, Google is pretty bullish, and I wouldn't mind getting a little bit of action out here. with the caveat that I have to be watching it very carefully every minute so that I can jump out of it and capture my gains and not get locked into it, because when the fall comes, it's going to be pretty steep in my opinion. Now, let's look at Amazon. I'm still staying invested in Amazon. It is still riding this bull channel upwards. And for today, the support is going to be at 231.44. And I think the resistance for us is going to be 238.29. And let's look at Apple, which is up 0.17% today. And I think Apple will get a support at somewhere around 237.25. Right now, it's at 239.40. And it's going to get a resistance today at 243.20. Microsoft is up 0.50% in pre-market trades. Resistance continues to be at 514.72. And support continues to be at 506.74. Tesla is up 1.14%, really very strong move in Tesla. And we got a bull flag which is forming. I would let it gather 2 or 3 more candles before it breaks out on the upside. And when it breaks out, it's going to be significant. RSI is overbought. A little more room possibly on the RSI, a little consolidation out here before a breakout. So Tesla is looking pretty good. Oracle is down 0.11%, moving towards the gap fill. This is the bear flag, and it has broken down on the downside. So we'll see a little bit of gains being lost because it was a phenomenal jump. And AMD is up. AMD is down 4.81%. The news of Intel and NVDA getting together is having an impact on AMD, because AMD had the PC share with NVIDIA and Intel getting together to address the PC areas. I think AMD is going to find a little more drops, and I'm still reactivating this potential double top target of 142.56 because we have fallen below this line of support of 157.69 to 151.57. So our new target, or our old target of 143.60 gets reactivated again. Now SMCI is up 1.34% in pre-market trades. Resistance will be at 46.64 and support is going to be at 43.95. Right now we're at 45.50. Broadcom is up 1.55% in pre-market trades, but the gap fill still remains to be done. Market sentiment is bullish, but MACD is turning towards the signal line. Momentum has also dropped very sharply, but the pre-market action seems to suggest that all these things are going to get reversed and MACD might improve and momentum might become a little bit flat before going up again. So overall, the semiconductor sector is facing a little bit of volatility out there. I think AVGO will be positive. Palantir is also beginning to gain again 1.15%. And we saw a very violent movement by buyers who pushed it back when it approached the support of 160.75. As you can see, the candle from yesterday, it's a very bullish candle out here. And we are looking at seriously challenging the diagonal line of resistance at 171.31 today and breaking out above that and converting that into a support. Right now, we are up 1.16%. So I'm feeling very optimistic about Palantir. And then we have SMH Semiconductor ETF, which is up 3.11% based on all the optimism. And I'm going to draw this diagonal line of resistance up further and move this up. So today, I think we got a resistance somewhere around 323.84, and we have a support somewhere in the region of 308.76. So that's going to be our support. So I'm going to move this up and put it out here. So this is our new support. Let me just open this up to see what exactly it is. Yes, let me fine tune this. So this is going to be 309.19. Tempus AI is moving up smartly, 1.49. Will it be able to crack the all-time high? That is the question. I took profit and sold Tempus AI. So now I'm planning to get back into it and wait for it to reach this resistance. So there is plenty of room out here. So I'm going to get back in today. Then let us look at APLD. APLD is up 3.68% in pre-market trades. And we have a target for APLD of around 24.78. And this looks like a bull flag formation. Let us hope that it gets a few more candles and moves up. And what else do we have here? Rigetti is moving up on a very big news. CDAC is the Indian government organization which does advanced computing. They have supercomputers, and Rigetti tying up with them is mutually beneficial for both India as well as Rigetti. So we have seen a spike again of around 3.96% in Rigetti shares. But I'm going to be very wary about this. I would look forward to a Trump announcement of some sort asking Rigetti not to share certain technologies and so on and so forth. So I would not be jumping into Rigetti right now. This is predictable. It's just a question of when Trump notices this or when somebody brings this to Trump's attention, because Trump right now is anti-India because of the Russian oil purchase factor. So let us see what happens out here. Now, next, I'm going to go in and have a look at Genomics. And we have Prime, which had broken the bull flag and it had gone up. Then it created another bull flag and moved up further. It lost a little bit of its gains, but again, this morning it has moved up again. The question is, are we following, creating a new flagpole out here? So let me take the previous flagpole length and put it at the breakout. So we have a target of 5.20, which is an interim target. So I'm thinking that the gains today could probably end up somewhere around 5.21 and then consolidate to create a new flag. And this will become the new flagpole. So that's what I'm looking forward to as far as Prime is concerned. And the ultimate target is 7.24. Have I put my money into it? No. I plan to do so today if I get the opportunity. And then we have Intelia, which is up 5.24% in pre-market trades. It is opening above yesterday's opening, so it's pretty good. It's spanned a whole lot of gains this morning. There must be some good news. Intelia completes global phase 3 HELO study enrollment for Lonzo Z. So that's a positive news. I think this sentiment could be temporary along with the market sentiment. So if I was getting into Intelia right now, I'd be looking at a mix of factors. One of the things I could say is that here we are looking at reverse head and shoulder pattern, which is a bullish pattern, which has already been triggered. So we could have a high target out there. We also have an all-time high out here of 14.61, which could be a resistance. I don't think it's an all-time high, but the recent high that we have had, which could potentially be a resistance. So let us plot this out and see where this goes. I'll take it all the way up here and then. So we would have a target of around 14.80 for Intelia. But again, as I mentioned, like you have to be like a deer in a jungle, very alert, and you can't just buy and forget about it until it reaches the target. It could deviate anytime, change in the market sentiment, everything can come down. Because these kind of news items, which have a little bit of a sugar high for a short period of time, and then they come back down again. So that's what I think would happen here. Caribou Biosciences is flat in pre-market trading. Beam is up 3.56% in pre-market trading. And I think it's formed a series of bull flags and kept moving upwards. I think a new flag is being formed out here. And I don't have much predictions on that. Altimmune is up 1.40%. Still, I have a support here at 3.37. That's going to be my support. I have a resistance here at 3.85. That's going to be my resistance. Editas is up 2.57%, still moving along this diagonal line of support after briefly dipping down yesterday. It's been flirting with this diagonal line of support, so I'm just going to move this down. And I would say I would like to mark it out here, which is a much more apt line. So I would say support today is going to be 2.68. And resistance today could be in the region of 2.84. Illumina is up 1.42%. It's moved above this diagonal line of resistance. So I'm going to mark this as a green line of support, but we'll have to close above that and confirm it. So we'll wait for that. And that's going to be a tall order, because to confirm above this diagonal line of support, we have to close above 104.22, which is to extinguish this resistance at 103.15 and convert it into a support. So it's a big, tall order, but suffice to say, the head and shoulder pattern, I'm retiring it. So it's no longer going to be in force, in my opinion. So I'm going to take this off. And we are looking at the market sentiment coming close to being neutral. So that's again a positive. CRSP Therapeutics is up 3.22%. It's above this diagonal line of support after having dipped down before yesterday. So for today, the support is going to be 60.65. And I would peg the resistance somewhere around I would say 62.08. Pre-market, we're at 61. Market sentiment has mended to almost neutral. MACD is absolutely bullish. Momentum is above average. So CRSP could do well a little bit for today. Allogene is up 1.77% in pre-market trades. Grail is up 1.59%. PACV is up 0.81%. ARCG is up 1.75%. In the process, it has taken out the resistance at 26.64. Currently, it's at 26.73. I don't want to jinx this, so I'm going to leave it out there because there's a potential double top formation out here. So I will not take that lightly. So I'm going to leave it out there. I would wait for it to confirm above, and maybe tomorrow I'll convert this into a green if we still stay above this. Next, we have Vertex. Vertex is up 0.26%. It's neither here nor there. Vertex is doing a consolidation act. Market sentiment has improved. MACD and momentum have to improve. And wait and see if the overall market sentiment helps this. Ginkgo Bioworks is up 0.26%, and it's touching the upper end of this diagonal line of resistance. And for today, the resistance is 11.42. We are at 11.32. Can we break up above this? And even if we break up above this, I don't think it's a bull flag in action. In my opinion, it will be a potential for traveling down this diagonal line of resistance, which will then become a line of support and become a superior bear channel. Then I'm looking at Precision. Precision is up 0.52% after touching this line of support and briefly dipping below. It got a good bounce back. And today, if it breaks and closes above the opening 2 days ago, then I would say that this positive momentum has got some legs. Otherwise, I'll continue watching it test this support and move up, or break this support and come down, because we need some information on how it is performing against the loan conditions. So we'll have to see whether it meets those milestones. We are looking for some kind of positive sign or a press release which talks about them meeting their goals under the financing agreement. Next, we are looking at Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly is up 0.13%, because even if Novo Nordisk is a little bit superior, there can be a little bit of pricing adjustments, and there will always be a markets and geographies. Different geographies have different dynamics. So Lilly is still looking positive. And if I just drag this regression channel, our median at 739.83 is the ultimate support for us, and we are creating some kind of a bull flag out here, and we'll see what happens in today's market action. Market sentiment is bullish, momentum is pretty good. MACD is also bullish. The next stock I want to see is RAD, which is Ultragenics. I think Ultragenics is continuing to have a resistance here, which is a diagonal line of resistance, and it's going to play its role as a resistance at 29.31. Right now we are at 29. If we break through this, then our next resistance is 29.47. So that's what I'm looking at. So I'll convert this diagonal line of support into a diagonal line of resistance. Market sentiment is dropping. MACD is bearish. Momentum is below average. So Ultragenics is not looking that great, but I'm personally still bullish on Ultragenics. And friends, let me remind you, I'm a retail investor, and I'm just sharing my thoughts with you out here. And I don't think this is financial advice for you. So always do your own due diligence before making any investment. Let's take a quick look at Rocket Mortgage and where it is. It's jumped up 2.17% today. So this was a bull flag, as I suspected, and we are breaking out of the bull flag and we'll move upwards. Our ultimate target is somewhere out here at 28.68. I bought a little bit of Rocket Mortgage and I'm still holding on to it. Let us see what happens with that. So friends, this brings me to a close of the genomics sector. Let's go and look at currencies. We have Bitcoin, which is doing pretty well, it's up 0.63%. So this happened to be a bull flag and we broke out on the upside. Our next resistance is going to be 119,928. And our support is likely to be somewhere in the region of 115,305. Market sentiment bullish, MACD bullish, momentum above average, and still plenty of room on the RSI. And we look at Solana, which is also continuing to gain. The bull flag, which was out here, has broken out. And we want to look at a resistance of 250 being broken today. And we'll have a support at around 228.95. So that's what I have for Solana. And for XRP, we are looking at a bull flag which has broken out on the upside. And this particular bull flag out here, I would put the target for this bull flag at around 3.36. So that's going to be our immediate target. And our ultimate target for the bullish pennant is going to be 4.64. So we'll have a series of bull flags on our way to this point, in my opinion. Right now, we are still looking good. Market sentiment is bullish now, finally, after being bearish for quite a while. MACD is also bullish, moving away from the signal line. Momentum is picking up rapidly. I have XRP and I have Bitcoin. So both of the things. I also have Solana. So all three are doing well right now. So I'm thinking that let's go and have a look at gold just once more to see where it is right now. Gold is still doing okay. Yeah, so we'll watch this closely for the next few days to see whether it's time to sell and book the profits, because we bought ZGLD. I bought ZGLD somewhere around 3452. So it's time for me to reevaluate. Like, as I said, deer in the jungle, any little bit of rustling in the leaves, you have to get out and wait. Maybe we lose a little bit of gains, but at least we are not stuck holding the baby when the market goes down pretty bad. So that's all I got, my friends. I'm going to go have a quick breakfast and get started with my trading, pre-market trading. If you have anything that you want to mention, please put in the comment section. If you want any ticker symbol you want me to have a quick look at, put it in the comment section and I will go and have a look at it for you before I close the live stream. Okay. So, okay, since we have no requests, I'm thinking that I'm going to just wind down this session. Bye and have a great day. We'll catch up again tomorrow.